Okay, let's start. How many of you have contributed in open source? Okay, few of you. I hope that my talk inspire you and doing more and clarify a few things. So let's start this talk. Open source from zero to my hero, Valentino Rossi. So from the title, you can understand I'm not that fan of Mark Markets, but this is another topic. So let's start from the day that finally had the possibility to meet my idol, and I managed the possibility to meet him in France. So I flown to France to the circuit, and I had the possibility to finally see him in person. So this is the track, this is the grid, and this is my hero. So with mechanics, drivers, and such. And in a few minutes, I had the possibility to give him an applause. So, but like in best movies or TV shows, let's jump back 5 years earlier with my first pull request. So this is my first pull request. You can find your first pull request in a website. And for each GitHub user, you can find the first one. This is mine. So update the file icon of a project. So really easy pull request. And just for curiosity, I look at this guy. This guy is or was the maintainer of the project, and shoot out for contributors. So, are you a brave developer? Your help is needed. So I decided to exit from my comfort zone. So I answered him back. I really want to contribute into this project, but I'm newbie in open source workflow. How can I help you? So more or less, more of you are not familiar with open source, and this could be you. So, hey, you answer me back. Let me know if I can help you to get on board and blah, blah, blah. So after a few days, I decided to sign myself under the issue. So the issue was update the favicon. I decided to sign myself and I wrote, I take this one. So here we can see two best practice. From the maintainer side, he decided to put the label good first issue. So in the project, you can find a good first issue label with in the issue that are easy to achieve. And from my side, I decided to do I take this one to write I take this one because this is not the case, but sometimes the issue are stale for a long time. So maybe if you would like to solve something that is not useful anymore, this is a good point to say, a maintainer, I would like to do this work, and the maintainer from the other side can say, okay, but this is not useful anymore. So that's the workflow more or less. And then I opened my PR, and the PR, as I mentioned, was really simple, just some PNG and the favicon. And after that, the PR was merged. So this change was really trivial, but usually is quite complicated to contribute in a big project because the code base is really hard to understand. And I put this image, and you can see that is night because most of the people, of the contributors, are working 8 hours for the company. So usually they spend their free time to help the projects. So usually I spend my time during night helping open source project, but I'm quite lucky because my company helped me and give me the possibility to contribute in open source, and we have some open source project that I can work for. So during the night, I work for external libraries and such, and this is most of the time I'm like this. But you can say, okay, but why are you using your free time to contribute in open source. So I'm a passionate developer. I like coding. So after 8 hours at work, I code more. So during the night because I love develop stuff and code. But there is another great things about open source because you can learn new things. So the first things that you can achieve from contributing open source is learning new things. So in my particular case, my English was not like this, was really little. So my company is an Italian company, and all the communication, chat, and meeting are in Italian. Have the possibility to refresh my English in the open source world. Give me the possibility to speak in front of other person in English. So it's a good opportunity also for that. And this is something that I can see every night. So you can see a lot of code, really messy, a lot of arguments and function. So you have to figure out and parsing the code to understand if your change could be beneficial for the project or not. So sometimes I'm like this, like to figure out, okay, is going here and there and so on. So I'm not ashamed to say, okay, I put some console log here. There is a console log here again. So a lot of console log to figure out the flow. And then when you have all in your mind, you are able to change the code base, because without knowing what's happening under the hood, it's really difficult to solve a bug or develop new features. Okay, and when you read the code from other developers, you learn things, because you learn that you can use a new URL to create a URL, and instead of chaining a string or something like that. So reading the code of other developers is really useful. Okay, another great thing is personal satisfaction. So this is the post of 2018. After my pull request, the maintainer wrote, I want to give a shout out to this guy, and this guy for their outgoing help with the project. So for me, it was really a big satisfaction. I received a few likes and comments and also new followers come up. So if you're doing this kind of activity and the maintainers shoot out you on the social media, you get new followers and likes and so on. This is a screenshot from a conference, and this is the maintainer of this particular project, and is thanking all the community and the contributors, because a project is live because there are contributors that helping the project to grow, because maintainers spend their own time, as we mentioned before, to figure out how to solve a problem and develop new features. But if we are a big community, is better. And this is another maintainer that is giving a shout out as well for the contributors. Okay, but how to start contributing in open source? So many developers told you that you can look for a good first issue, or you can simply change a documentation. Because you read a documentation, you find a typo. This is a good way to contribute. Yes, it is. But I have my personal opinion. My opinion is to ask to someone that is already doing open source. And for sure, this guy can focus you on the right path, can teach you how to contribute, and also can pass you some task to solve. So this is my opinion. So if you know someone that is contributing in open source, you can ask him to do more. Okay, so this is the open source from the developer perspective. But if we looking at the open source from the company is always looking for business, money, and such, you know. So open source is like a free time. So it's difficult to there is a friction from money and business and free time, you know. So a good advice for me for a company can be have an employee that is contributing in some library. So if I have one, I'm run a company, I have some employee that is contributing in React, for example. If I have one client that is using React, I have more power to say, okay, if you have a problem with React, I have a guy inside of my team that can change things, can figure out how it works, and so on and so forth. So this is a great power if you have this kind of contributors. And of course, to have this kind of contributors, you need the company need to believe in open source and try to grow also the developer in this kind of activity. Another way to use open source like a company is to gain company reputation. So if you are a big company, you have like a Meta, you have a library that all the developers are using. For sure, your company reputation is bigger than another. So find the developers right now. It's really a war. So if your company has a good reputation, if you have an open position, you will receive for sure a lot of resume from all around the world. So this is a good way to invest your money in open source instead of pitch your company in marketing and social media and so on. So open source like marketing stuff. But if you want to use the open source to gain reputation for your company, you need to find the right library. So imagine we have this library, Svelte SVG image. So we are doing a library that is Svelte library. Svelte is a front-end framework. We are trying to support SVG. SVG is a format for the images. And of course, we need to put the name image because, you know, we need to get a context for this library. So if we are doing this kind of library, the target user for our library is this one, because we are supporting the image user, the Svelte user as well. And from this big target of user, we have this small one, because we are supporting only the SVG. So if we do a step back, we remove the SVG, so we decided to support all kind of images, we can reach this target of user. So it's bigger than before. But if we do another step back and we decided to support all the image that, so if you have a front-end framework, you are using front-end, you can use my library to have performance by the image, good format and resizing and so on. So you can get this target of users. So all developers, the front-end developers that are using image can download and use my library. In fact, the library usage can gain download from this kind of the decision. And you can see here we decided to change the mentality of the library to support all the image, and the users is bigger than before. Okay, so let's talk about the sponsorship. So open source, we mentioned that it's free time, and the other side, we are spending our free time to have to learn new things and to sometimes have a shootout on the social. But there is another stuff that we can have is a sponsorship. Sponsorship put the money into play of the open source, because GitHub can give us the possibility to sponsor the library. And why we need to support the library? So we need to support the library because our company has this big architecture here. This is a really amazing architecture, but for using HTTP request, we are using a library, of course, because we don't want to implement the HTTP protocol by ourselves. So we are using a library, this small library here, as you can see. Okay, and the maintainer of this library is a guy that is maintaining and supporting for security stuff in the free time the library. So if this guy decided to drop the support for the last iOS or Android or something, our beautiful architecture and also our business can be ruined. So keep in mind that there are a lot of developers that are the low layer of our architecture, and sponsorship can resolve the problem that the maintainers have to find the free time to support security stuff or implement new features. So with GitHub, you can support a single user, or you can support also a library, like in this case. So supporting a library and a user, as I mentioned before, is a good way to support also the open source ecosystem. Okay, so let's jump to a demo. So I decided to create a PR in live and to merge it for you, because the flow is really simple, and I think we can do it right now. So I have this application. This application is like an e-commerce, and I have one issue. So this one, fit menu bar to the top left corner. So this guy is using, apparently is using the library. This project, this is a open source project to spin up your e-commerce, and apparently need to have a menu bar, because right now, if we are going to this website, and you resize the website in the mobile, there is no menu. Okay, you can go into this page if you scan the QR code that I'm showing you, if you want. Okay. Can zoom. Okay. You can scan. Because we will do a feature, and then live we are deploying the new version. Okay. Oh, I see. There is no internet connection. Okay, no problem. We will do with my Mac. Okay. So we need to implement this menu bar, and this guy posted the same question in this other PR I sold a few weeks ago. So I implemented the search bar here, and this guy, after thanked me, asked for more stuff. And I said to him, okay, please open new issue, because this issue is closed. Please open new one. Okay, so you open this one. Great. And 2 hours ago, I posted, I will work on this, and this guy just put a reaction. So it's really bumped about my feature. Okay, so to implement a new feature in an open source project, you need to clone the project. So you need to go here. Here you need to copy this URL, of course, you have to install GitHub in your local machine, and then you can clone the project. Before cloning the project, if the project is not yours, you need to fork it. What does it mean? It means that you can copy all the code that is from another user. You copy all the code in your own space. So you are able to push something, because if the code base is not yours, you don't have the permission to push change. So you need to fork it, and then you can clone the project. In this case, I have all the permission to push directly, but I will create the PR. So I have my project here. Okay, this is the terminal. Maybe we can do this. Okay. We can see that now the remote for Git is Venture e-commerce. So this is the project. Okay. So to create a new change, we need to create a PR. So to create a PR, we need to create a branch. How many of you know what is a branch in Git? Okay, all of you. For those that doesn't know what is a branch, branch is a copy from the current code. When you can, and then in this copy you can do changes, and then these changes you can merge this change into the main code base. So you can work in parallel because you're doing copy, and every developer can work in this copy, and then you can merge this copy when you want into the main project. So we need to create a branch. So git checkout -b, and here we can say fit menu. Okay, so we are switching to the fit menu, and we can run the dev server. We can run the dev server. We can go here. Okay, so this is my development, and you can see that there is the menu. This is the menu because yesterday I spent 1 hour of my free time to create this change. So if we want, we can go briefly to see what changed. So I create the app state is the application state of the application. I create a show menu like a Boolean, and in the header I create the menu icon. Here we have a tailwind. When I click on the menu, I change the state of the application to show the menu. This is an SVG for the icon. And then here we have the menu. So we attaching the component to the app state. And when the show menu is true, we are showing the menu, basically. So this is a new component. And then we have a layout. Here I set the default value to false. So as soon as we spin up our application, the menu is closed. And then I change this part here. So if the menu, I can basically comment this one because it's simpler to show what's happened. Okay. So I refresh. I go here. Okay, I click, I change the state of the application. The menu now is up. I can close and open. And the part that I comment out is for this reason. So if you scroll the page under the menu. So I attach the logic, the application logic. So every time the show menu and the show card change, we are doing this ternary. So we are adding a class to the body element. So we can see the body element here. And when the menu is out, we have this overflow hidden, and this prevent us to scroll the page under the menu. And we are doing this for the menu and for the shopping cart. Great. So basically we implemented the feature. Now we want to push our code and close the issue. So I can add all the file here. I can commit my file. So git commit, and the message need to be a good message, not just a minor fix or blah blah blah. So fit, and we can say what we can say. Add menu. Is it good? Okay. Add menu. Okay. So now I did my commit. I push the change to the repository. So git push origin fit menu. Okay. So now I did my change. I pushed my change to the repository. If you have your own fork, you do the same, because you are pushing to your own clone of the project. And then in GitHub, if you refresh here, okay, you have this special button, compare and pull request. So now you can create a pull request against the main branch. This is my fit menu branch, and the title is add menu in the header. And here I can say closed this one. So I can point to the issue directly from the PR. Okay, so I can create the pull request. And usually when you work in open source project, you can create also a draft request. So the maintainer can say, okay, this is the draft. I don't spend my time to review the code, but I'm waiting for the final review, basically. I create a pull request. I'm creating this pull request, and then it's doing CI/CD stuff. But I think I can, okay, here we can see all the file changed, the file we saw before. If a reviewer want to review your code base, can basically comment out with this panel, or can suggest some changes, like here, let me say here, like this, can write comments to if you're doing something that is wrong or is not aligned with the best practice of the project. The maintainer can say, please change this in that. Okay, so cancel, and now I think I can merge. Okay, squash and merge. Okay, and I can delete the branch, because we have done. Okay, let's see the issue. Okay, the issue is closed because we are closing the PR. The PR solved the issue, so the issue now is closed. And let's wait for this guy. Maybe will thank us. Okay, and now, as I mentioned before, we have a pipeline. The application is on top of a Cloudflare page, so it's cloud platform like Vercel or Netlify, and is going to build the application and deploying in production. Let's wait. I think it's going to take like a minute. Okay. This is the application. Okay. In the meanwhile, you have some question? Do you have some question?
What comments are best practices on best practices?
Yes and no. It depends on what you want to do. I think a squash is best practice for the open source, because if in this, for example, in this PR, I did like 10 commits, and I merged all these 10 commits into the main branch. The history is not clean because there are a lot of commits, and then if I want to revert this menu because it breaks the production, I can't do it like in a one revert because we have a lot of commit. So if I squash all the commit into one, I have a lot of benefit from that. Okay, so it's ready. So if we go here, okay, we have our menu. Great. Okay, so let's jump again to the slide. Okay, so we saw how create a pull request, how to close an issue and such. But let's jump back to my journey. In the first part of the talk, we saw Valentino Rossi. So let's jump back in that track. So I am a open source developer. Since 1 year, I'm working mostly of the time in a Quick project. Quick is a front-end framework open source. You can find me on Twitter. My handle is Giorgio_Boa on Twitter or on X, what do you prefer? And on LinkedIn as well with my name and surname, of course. And I met the creator of this framework here, Quick, and that's why I'm contributing into the project. I met him in a conference like this one in June 2022, and he pitched me out the framework that is quite a new framework, and he is the creator of Angular and Angular JS. And okay, so it's quite famous. And I told myself, okay, I can help him. I don't know nothing about this project, but the worst case is that I'm refreshing my English. I understand a little bit more about the open source. And then meeting after meeting during all this year, now we are collaborating. We create a trustful relationship, and basically we talk about everything, about code and about interesting stuff and so on and so forth. But what about Valentino Rossi? We talk a lot, and a team member of Quick has a brother, like most of us, and this brother is run a company, and the company is a sponsor for the car of Valentino Rossi, not this big one, a small one, and and basically the Quick team member told me, okay, if you like to see in person your idol, I can manage all the things. You can basically stay with me in the circuit, and I will give you the possibility to meet your idol. So that's me with Valentino Rossi. That's amazing. That's amazing because from one thing like open source that is not motorsport related or something else, I can achieve my goal. So there are a lot of possibility in this sport, and thank you for listening. And now it's time for questions.
When is the right time to open a pull request, even if it's draft? Is it as soon as possible, or?
I don't know, for the audience online, when is the right time for open a PR? As soon as possible, or I think the right time is when you are okay with your code. So if you are implementing this menu, but there is something that is strange, you can open a pull request in the draft mode, because now you don't have time to fix it. But then you can work on it tomorrow, and then you can change the status to ready for review, for example. And then the maintainer, when he's ready to review, will review your code and then ask you to change something if it's not really aligned with the project.
Which is the advantage of the draft pull request is that everybody else knows that you are working on it, so they don't spend time on it.
This is I repeat for the audience. Open a pull request in draft mode has the benefit also for the others to don't do the same things again and again. Yes, this is another good reason to open a pull request, even if it's not ready, because the other guys that maybe want to do the same can see your pull request and then they can collaborate with you, or basically they change the issue and spend their time in a different mode.
They can collaborate with you.
Yeah, maybe if you have a Discord channel, you can ping the guy and you can say, okay, can we pair programming for this stuff?
Right.
Or you can write him on the comment, and then you are able to engage with him in social media. Yeah.
Yeah, because the code base is yours, right? Because it is your fork.
Yeah, you can give him the permission to push in your fork as well.
Thank you.
So I was having a discussion with a non-tech person about the open source world and why a person give it time to the project. And this person told me, "Wow, that's literally communism." What do you think about it?
Literally common what?
Communism.
Communism. I think the benefit to the open source is really clear, because you learn a lot of things. So you are giving your free time to learn something. It's like when you are watching a documentary, you are giving your free time to learn something from the documentary. It's more or less the same. Any other questions? No questions? Okay. So enjoy the rest of the conference.